So anyway, yes. So yeah, in this mass, I don't even know how many millions it was of Venezuelans that crossed the border into the United States during the last administration due to the lack of control of the southern border of the United States. And
Lack of control.
your opinion on that really doesn't matter. It was wide open. So I'm not trying to take a political
Yeah,
stance. It's
they
pretty much
didn't.
objective. And so that happened either way, and among them was this. And so the lax control overall let into the United States, just as I think the current president would probably agree, let into the United States by oversight or whatever you want to say. And they eventually, where of course they're going to start out west, and so Texas is a little bit harder. Place like Colorado, maybe it's easier to blend in. And I remember what you're talking about. And yes, they did. They went into an apartment complex that they seemingly took over. And I'm sure that's happened in a lot more places where the people just don't want to talk about it, because if they do, the local police force is probably not going to want to mess with it. And plus, you might not want to mess with it. You might not want to say anything.
Our beautiful government was putting them on buses and shipping them inland to Colorado, to Minneapolis,
Well,
to
that's
New
where
York,
they,
to Chicago.
right. And
Our
by that
government
time,
was doing it to us.
that at that point though it
Unbelievable.
became, but that was political theater. That's when politicians turned people into political chess pieces. And you saw Texas doing that to New York, and then New York turned around and sent them someplace else. And so at the end of the day, regardless of who did it and why and what political party, the people on those
Eh,
buses, and they're still people, and not all of them. Before I came to Colombia, prior to the 2020 election, okay, and to be clear, folks, I have not voted since the first George Bush, and I did that last time with you, Troy, in Flagstaff, Arizona.
Wow.
And so that's the last time I voted. 92
Huh.
it would have been, right? And so,
Wow.
right. And so I'm not trying to get political here. I think it's pretty obvious at the end of the day where I might stand on some of these things, but at the same time, I like to try to stay somewhat abreast of not having to, whatever. Anyway, where were we? Okay, so regardless of why the political chess pieces were moved, whether you're pro-Republican because you like the fact that the Texas governor did it and he was sending them to a blue state or whatever, that's irrelevant. The people on the things were humans, and I think this kind of began with the version of Venezuelans back when, yes, the president that's there now, who as I've already said, do not have a problem with his policies right now as far as southern looking in this issue. He had a quote, and I don't even know if I'm accurate. I might be wrong, and I hope I'm not. And I'm admitting I'm wrong for anybody out there that's going to say, oh, he said that. I'm saying I could be wrong. But I remember there was some quote, and this is before I knew anything about South America. I had no idea about anything going on in South America. This is right after my transplant, before I left the United States. He said something to the effect of all these people from Venezuela are criminals and they're, whatever, all these bad things, and some of them are good people. Some of them are good people. That's like saying the United States is a white supremacist, is a racist country. We have racists. We definitely have racists. We have all kinds of colors of racist people. But that's not America. That's not that is the sum of us, the little of us, not the sum as in the grand total of us. The grand total of the people coming over from Venezuela are doing it, yes, in rags, and yes, maybe not educated enough, but they're doing it because they're simply trying to find a better place to live. Same thing everybody else is doing. Now, so what? We have our land, they have theirs. That is a very legitimate thing. People from the United States can say that. Why should we have to pay for their problems? I agree. Why should the United States have to do any of this? Who knows? But if that's the voted thing, and see, up until that time, that was what was being allowed to happen. So people were trying to go there to find a better place to live. And I'm sure lots of them, and I'm sure lots of you that are watching this know people from Latin America who either came recently or maybe their parents did, who, if before this time, you might not even have thought about them being Latino to begin with. But now you do because it's in the news. And I'm not trying, again, to take some big stand on this, other than to say that the vast majority of the people we're talking about here, including soldiers on both sides of this upcoming conflict, all they want to do is have a happy place to live and a safe place for their family,
Yep.
and to have a job or a purpose, and things like that. So that's the human element that we can't leave out of all this.